On Osrc News at 7, Governor Ayedatiwa reaffirms commitment to rule of law. INEC engages disability group leaders ahead on the governorship election. Borno Yoruba community calls for help following Maiduguri flood. And from the foreign scene, 6 migrants die after Mexican soldiers open fire on pickup truck. Thank you very much for joining us tonight on the news at 7 on OSRC television. My name is Oyewumi Ayinigbara. Ondo State's Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa says it's a decision to appoint and swear in 6 new judges to the State High Court is a vital step in strengthening the judiciary and enhancing justice delivery. This marks the second major judicial swearing in during Ayedatiwa's tenure, who praised Chief Judge Justice Segun Odushola for increasing the number of judges to alleviate court workloads. The governor reaffirmed his commitment to the rule of law and judicial independence, urging the new judges to perform their duties with diligence and integrity. Government House correspondent Wahab Ankoli has details as presented from our studios.
That I will be faithful and bear allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
That I will be faithful and bear allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
And that I will preserve, protect and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Protect and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I am proudly grateful to the National Judicial Council and Honorable Justice Oluka Ariwola retired for permitting and recommending the appointment of these unprecedented number of credible persons during his time as the Chief Justice of Nigeria. The judicial officer is a man of exceptional credentials, such as we have, but he must be an outstanding personality in all conceivable perspectives. He must be soberly disposed to issues and put on the cloak of self-restraint befitting of his exalted seat. It is therefore not surprising that the process that culminated in the appointment of these new judges was replete with rigorous and thorough exercises. It is to ensure that only the fit and proper are saddled with the dispensation of justice, as the fate of the entire citizenry will be placed in your hands. There is no gainsaying the fact that the appointment of these noble personalities marks a significant improvement in the composition of the judges on the bench of Ondo State Judiciary. A major achievement of our administration has been upwardly reviewed in the statutory number of judges appointable as judicial officers in the High Court of Ondo State. Since the coming on board of our administration, we have totally refrained from interfering in the affairs of the judiciary in any manner whatsoever. Our administration is committed to upholding this noble faith, and so far, no order or decision of the court has been or will be disobeyed or flouted in the slightest form by this administration. The independence of the judiciary is a crucial aspect of democratic system.
That's the State Governor Lucky Orimisan Aiyedatiwa at the swearing-in of the 6 judges into the High Court. Women in Ondo State have been assured of more opportunities in government. Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa gave the assurance while speaking at the grand finale of a community engagement outreach of Odatiwa Women Initiatives led by Special Advisor on Women Affairs Seun Osamaye in Akure. The visits to all the 18 local government areas in Ondo State is to engage women on government policies and identify their needs for immediate attention.
It was a surprise for Akure women as Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa unexpectedly stormed Akure City Hall to identify with the gathering during Odatiwa Women Initiative Engagement Outreach in the state capital. The governor danced into the large crowd to show his appreciation for their support since he was sworn in as governor. The people praised the leadership style of the governor, which they said has continued to impact positively on the lives of the people. Convener of the initiative, who also doubles as special advisor to the governor on women affairs, Seun Osamaye, lauded the level of cooperation received from the women since the program began, saying over 180,000 women have been engaged and promised to improve on it.
The governor is accepted, the governor is loved, the governor is treasured. His Excellency Lucky Orimisan Aiyedatiwa is someone that is well accepted by all Ondo State women. And we are happy they have demonstrated this love by coming out en masse.
Governor Aiyedatiwa, who could not hide his joy, thanked the ruggedness of Seun Osamaye's team and the loyalty to his administration, and assured them of more engagement and initiatives that will benefit all and sundry. He called on them to keep spreading the message of hope.
The love they have demonstrated, the sacrifice. Some of them are market women. They're supposed to be in their marketplace to sell their wares, but they are all here, left their shop to be part of this. And knowing women for who they are, for every woman, you can multiply that by 10. So it's a massive mobilization for us. And I want to thank them very much for this great work they have put in. So it's because they believe in this government and because the government is gender sensitive that women are being carried along. We have a lot of women that are appointees of this government.
The team was at the palace of Deji of Akure, Obalade Toyinbo Aladeluse, where the monarch commended their efforts and called for peace before, during, and after the election. The engagement outreach is geared towards involving more women in benefiting from the various policies and programs of the present administration in the state. Omoniola Mubiji, Osrc News.
And with less than 43 days until the governorship election in Ondo State, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has reaffirmed its commitment to ensuring that all citizens, regardless of physical ability, can participate in the November election. To facilitate this, INEC is engaging more groups of persons with disabilities to promote inclusive participation during the electoral process. Abidemi Akinrotoye completes the story.
The criteria for credible election include inclusivity, ensuring all eligible stakeholders can participate equally. The Electoral Act 2022 empowers the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to provide support and assistive devices for persons living with disability at polling places. With the Ondo State governorship election approaching in November, INEC officials are tasked with sensitizing various groups about the electoral process. Assistant Director of the Gender and Inclusivity Department, Abibat Jato, emphasized engaging leaders from disability groups to engage them to disclose their status during registration for better planning.
Doing everything possible to provide for persons with disabilities to make sure that they are being included in the electoral process. Participation in the process and even their participation on election day. For them to also know that there are devices provided by the commission to assist them in casting their votes on election days, to make things easier for them, to provide accessibility for them, to break the barriers they usually face on election days.
Representing the Ondo State Director of the National Orientation Agency, Raphael Oguntibeju, praised INEC's efforts to sustain democracy.
Every eligible voters of people living with any form of disabilities are included with full rights to participate in this forthcoming governorship election in Ondo State. And I want to reaffirm that commitment too, because INEC has deemed it fit to provide assistive materials that will assist every person with special abilities to participate in this forthcoming governorship election.
The State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Oluwatoyin Babalola, assured the public of a free and fair election and urged cluster leaders to engage their communities for inclusive participation.
We have been engaging with different groups. We have engaged with political parties, society groups. We have engaged with the Nigerian Union of Road Transport Workers and Maritime Transport Workers Union, as well as NATO. We have also engaged with women, persons with disabilities. We have engaged with youth in April and August.
Such interface education ahead of the elections. Abidemi Akinrotoye, OSRC News.
You're still watching Osrc News at 7. After the break, Borno Yoruba community calls for help following Maiduguri flood. Please do join us for this and more.
Ọ̀nà lọ́rùn bá ti ṣe tiẹ̀ lẹ́jú bá jà o. Èràbé má bá jà o, má bá bínú. Ọ̀nà lọ́rùn bá ti rẹ̀yìn ẹ̀ lẹ́jú bá jà o. Ọ̀nà lọ́rùn bá ti ṣe tiẹ̀ lẹ́jú bá jà o.
Thank you very much for rejoining us. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at OSRC TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV. Ondo. Leaders of the Muslim community in Ore, Odigbo local government area of Ondo State, have refuted claims by one Latif Afaro, who is allegedly parading himself as leader of all Muslims in the council area. According to the leaders, the Muslim community recognizes only Alhaji Bisriyu Raji Bolahon, who has led the Muslims since 2008 as the chief imam of Ore community, charging the stragglers to desist from sowing seed of discord in the community. Joy Pius now completes the story.
Islamic leaders across the Muslim community in Ore, Odigbo local government area of Ondo State, are gathered here to address what they call impersonation of the highest office in the community, following reports that a member of the community referred to as Latif Ofaro is allegedly arrogating the leadership of the Muslim community to himself. This meeting of elders and members of the various Islamic groups in Ore became expedient to clear the air. Condemning the action of the alleged impostor, the leaders established that there was no misunderstanding within the group capable of creating factions. The leaders maintained that Alhaji Bisriyu Bolahon has been the chief imam of Ore community since 2008 and still leads the people in that capacity.
That person, he tell all the people for the Bola government, he say na be header for this Bola government. So we are here to tell the other people say we don't know the person as a leader for this one. Our leader is Muhammad Roji Omagbola, the chief of Imam in the Bola government.
According to the chief imam of Ore community, no disharmony has been witnessed. For 16 years, he has led the faithful, urging members of the Muslim community to maintain peace, which the religion is known for.
Olórí gbogbo Mùsùlùmí ọ̀rẹ́, èmi náà sì ni ìmáàmù àgbà fún gbogbo Mùsùlùmí ọ̀rẹ́. Oyè tí mo jẹnu gbogbo àràárọ̀, gbogbo oyè ìmáàmù kọ̀ọ̀kan ni màá ṣàdúrà fún gbogbo wọn pátápátá nílùú ọ̀rẹ́. Oyè tí mo jẹnu fẹ́ kó dàrú, kó má dàrú, kó tùbà kó tù, kó sì máa dáa.
Ẹ jẹ́ ká jó lóòótọ́, Ọlọ́run lóhun ń bẹ lẹ́yìn olóòótọ́, bó lóòótọ́ bá wo wájú yóò rohun, tó bá wẹ̀yìn yóò rohun, torí eléyìí Mùsùlùmí ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ á fìmọ̀ ṣọ̀kan o.
Some of the members expressed satisfaction with the outcome of the dialogue.
The leaders of Muslim community have cleared it that it is not the leader of Muslims in the local government. It is nowhere to be found in Islam. It is just as Alpha is so separate. That is his business. You can see the crowd here. We are comfortable. The leaders have clarified everything to us that it is not our leader here. So that is all.
The Muslim societies present at the meeting include Nasfat, Form 1 and Kuwatulai societies. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
A severe flood situation is currently ravaging some parts of Ondo town following a heavy downpour that lasted for several hours. Major roads, including the Itanla axis, Ajilo Brigade Amdimulegun Road, are now submerged under waters, leaving vehicles stuck in the flood and passengers stranded. The flooding has taken some residents and commuters by surprise as the flood waters have rendered key roads impassable, creating chaos for commuters and travelers. Numerous vehicles have been trapped in the rising water, some completely submerged, forcing some passengers to abandon their cars and seek safety on higher ground as many people are left stranded and unable to reach their destinations. Residential areas have not been spared, with some homes suffering significant damage and the water infiltrating living spaces.
Omi ti ba ọgbà aṣọ jẹ́ ọgbẹ́ wà nílẹ̀ ẹ̀wò mọ́tò kan ló wà nílẹ̀ yẹn ti omi ti gbé mọ́tò kan lọ́dún sálẹ̀ nílẹ̀ yẹn ọ̀la ẹ̀wò.
And in Borno State, the Yoruba community support for its 4,600 members who were affected by the recent flooding that submerged 70% of Maiduguri and its environs. The president of the Yoruba community in Borno State, Saka Abiodun, who made the appeal while speaking with Newspen in Maiduguri, said mostly affected are artisans struggling for survival. Abiodun lamented that the flood disasters have destroyed homes, sources of livelihood and property, while noting that victims have lost everything they labored for. Abiodun emphasized that the flood displaced hundreds of families, destroyed homes and infrastructure, and caused the lack of access to basic necessities like shelter, food, clean water, and health care. Meanwhile, the Borno State Ministry of Health has declared a cholera outbreak in the state. The Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Professor Baba Ghana, while declaring the outbreak at the Eye Center in Maiduguri, said out of the 200 samples sent for testing, 17 returned positive. According to him, the outbreak is a result of the recent flood disaster that ravaged parts of the state. The state government has therefore declared immediate response to control the outbreak, as partners and humanitarian agencies like the World Health Organization, WHO, and Medicine Sans Frontiers, MSF, have put in place facilities to handle suspected cases. He also said about 400,000 vaccines have been made available. In Niger State, 6 more bodies of victims of the October 1 boat crash have been recovered from the river in the Bajibo community. The figure brings the total number of recovered bodies to 42, according to the Niger State Emergency Management Agency, NASEMA. The Director General of NSEMA, Abdullahi Babara, stated that rescue and search operations were still going on to recover more victims. The boat, which was said to be carrying more women and children, was conveying the passengers to celebrate the Maulud in the Bajibo community in the state. And now to judicial matters, Justice Evelyn Maha of the Federal High Court in Abuja has issued an order restraining the Directorate of the Road Traffic Services, commonly known as the Vehicle Inspection Office VIO, from stopping, impounding, or confiscating vehicles on the road. In its judgment, the court issued a restraining order against the respondents, preventing them and their agents from impounding or confiscating vehicles or imposing fines, labeling such actions as wrongful, oppressive, and unlawful. Justice Maha further granted a perpetual injunction to protect the rights of Nigerians, ensuring their freedom of movement, presumption of innocence, and rights to own property without lawful justification. And the National Agency for Food, Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has warned bakers and table water producers in Nasarawa State against unwholesome practices or face sanctions. The North Central Director of the agency, Francis Ononiwu, who issued the warning at the stakeholders' engagement with Master Bakers and the Association of Table Water Producers of Nigeria in Lafia, explained that water and food were essential to the lives of the citizenry and that the agency would ensure the public buy and consume only healthy water and bread. The director noted that bread was one of the basic foods eaten by most households in Nigeria, hence the need to maintain its standard. He added that every manufacturer or regulated product must renew his or her registration within the stipulated period or face sanction. The federal government says it has commenced arrangements for the evacuation of Nigerians living in Lebanon who are willing to return home following the crisis situation in the country. Head of Media Unit of National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Ezekiel Manzo, in a statement, confirmed that the evacuation exercise process has commenced in earnest. According to him, Nigerians who are willing to be evacuated back home have been advised to report to the Nigerian Embassy in Beirut, where they will be provided ahead of the airlifting. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, is coordinating the evacuation, which has started with mobilization of the citizens and would be followed immediately with all necessary requirements to bring them home. The Economic Community of West African States, Heads of States and Governments, ECOWAS, says it is planning to institute a 5,000-man force to tackle terrorism in the region. This is as the regional bloc disclosed that 1,605 terror attacks had been recorded between January and August 2024 in West Africa, with a total of over 6,000 fatalities. The president of the ECOWAS Commission, Umar Torre, who was represented by the program officer ECOWAS, Isaac Armstrong, stated that the efforts are ongoing to set up a 5,000-man kinetic force using the platform of the ECOWAS standby. 6 migrants died after Mexican soldiers opened fire on a group of 33 migrants traveling in a pickup truck that attempted to evade a military patrol. This tragic incident underscores the escalating tensions at Mexico's southern border, where the government faces increasing pressure from the United States to address the surge in immigration. Blessing Obe has more.
Mexican soldiers fired on a truck carrying migrants near the Guatemalan border, killing 6 and injuring several others. That's according to Mexico's Defense Ministry, which said the group had tried to evade a military patrol. It comes as Mexico's southern border continues to face U.S. pressure to contain migration. The military said the truck was followed by 2 vehicles similar to those used by criminal groups in the area. Soldiers reported hearing explosions, after which 2 officers opened fire. The group included people of Egyptian, Nepalese, Cuban, Indian, and Pakistani nationality, 33 in all. The ministry did not specify the nationalities of the dead. Daniel Anadas is the coordinator of a migrant shelter.
It hurts my heart very much because they are brothers who have been suffering and are dying just because they were shot. This is not possible. It's really important to look at this situation because the families are suffering.
The ministry said the soldiers who fired were removed from their posts and that federal prosecutors have been informed. A military tribunal will also carry out its own investigation. Blessing Obe, Osrc News.
And to end Osrc News at 7 News tonight, here again are the major stories. We told you that the Ondo State Governor Aiyedatiwa has reaffirmed his commitment to rule of law and judicial independence. We told you that Independent National Electoral Commission has engaged disability group leaders ahead on the governorship election. And we also brought you a report that Yoruba community in Borno State has called for help following Maiduguri flood. And from the foreign scene, 6 migrants have died after Mexican soldiers opened fire on pickup truck. That's the news tonight. Thank you very much for watching. Good evening.